So it goes without saying that the 3-row luxury SUV segment is definitely super competitive. Especially with new entries like Genesis with the GV80, the 3-row SUV segment is absolutely on fire right now. This all-new MDX has been completely redesigned from the ground up this year, and it's exactly what the MDX needed. I'm Steve with McGrath, and today we're talking about the all-new, freshly redesigned Acura MDX. So let's start with the styling. Up front, you can notice right off the bat that this new MDX is a lot more aggressive than the previous model. You've got the diamond pentagon grille standing front and center, and these jewel-eye LED headlights, which are standard across the whole Acura lineup. They look amazing and right at home here on the MDX. So you can see down below the headlights, we've got these nice fake vents, which they are still functional, so that's cool. We've got a nice lower grille that looks very aggressive. And on our A-Spec that we have here, we get LED fog lights, and this trim right here is also blacked out because it's an A-Spec. You can see we've got our radar cruise control sensor housed here in the Acura logo, as well as the camera up top behind the mirror for our lane keep assist, lane departure warning, and a few other safety features. I really can't get over the front end styling of the MDX. It looks really aggressive, especially with these sharp lines across the hood. Really gives this SUV a sporty presence. All right, so you can see the front of this SUV is definitely super sporty and stylish. Let's move down the side and see what we're working with. All right, so moving down the side, the first thing that strikes my eye is this sharp body line that starts at the headlight and it actually carries all the way back to the taillight, linking them together. It's a nice little styling touch that really adds some sophistication to the MDX. You can also see we have the A-Spec here. You can see that here on the fender. We've also got some really sleek 20-inch alloy wheels down there. Ours is also equipped with the side steps, which is a nice little thing to have if you're kind of short like me. Makes it a little bit easier to get in. Also, you're gonna get LED indicators here on the mirror, and these mirrors actually are power folding. So when you lock the car, they fold up, making this car just a little bit easier to get past when you got it parked in your garage. Now moving down from there, our A-Spec has some blacked out trim here on the doors, which is nice. When people open up the doors, they're not gonna door ding your nice paint. They're gonna hit this trim first, which is a nice little touch, especially if you've got kids. And moving to the back, you can see the rear doors are also really easy to open. They open super wide, so if you've got kids in car seats, it's gonna be really easy to get them in and out. And you can see on the A-Spec, they've also blacked out the trim that goes around the windows. It's nice little touches like that that set the A-Spec apart from the standard MDX. All right, now let's head around back and see how this all-new MDX is looking on the backside. All right, so around back on this all-new MDX, the first thing you notice is we've got a power liftgate. And you can also see we've got all-new LED taillights with the chicane design here in the running light. It's a nice little touch, looks really sporty. We've also got the A-Spec badge here on the trunk, as well as an all-new dual exhaust. And I really like how they've integrated the reflectors into the styling of the rear. All right, so you can see the exterior of the MDX is absolutely stunning. We've got really great styling, some nice wheels, a couple other nice touches on the outside, but let's hop onto the interior and see what this all-new MDX has to offer. All right, so now we're on the inside of the all-new MDX, and honestly, wow, did Acura do a fantastic job with the redesign of this. It takes a lot of the styling from the TLX, and that's a good thing because the new TLX has some really awesome styling on the interior. It's really well laid out. You've got the Acura True Touchpad interface here in the center, which is actually really nice. It's one of those touchpad systems that I actually don't mind using. You've got nice stitching here on the door cards, as well as on the dashboard. This nice red contrast stitching really adds some sporty elements to the interior. And on our A-Spec, we've got a nice perforated leather wrap steering wheel that's nice and thick, really nice to grab. It's a good feeling in your hands for sure. You've got the ELS Studio 3D sound system, which is one of the best sound systems I've heard in a new car. And you even have wireless Apple CarPlay. So you've got a wireless charger here in the center. All you have to do is connect your phone to the wireless Apple CarPlay and drop it down on the charger and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about fiddling around with a cable anymore. You've got your tri-zone automatic climate controls, really easy to access right here in the center, as well as your heated and cooled seat controls, your dynamic mode selector. This thing has split personalities for sure. You throw it in comfort, and it's honestly a super comfortable luxury SUV. As soon as you throw it into sport, you forget what you're driving because this thing does a really good job at hiding its size. Especially with the super handling all-wheel drive, this thing can take a corner way better than you'd expect in an SUV like this. You've got all of your driver assistance features really easy to access here on the steering wheel, and don't forget the all-new digital display here in the center. And I love how it changes with your different drive modes. Another one of my favorite features is you have a panoramic sunroof standard on the MDX. A lot of the German competitors, you have to step up to a higher trim level just to get a sunroof. On the MDX, a panoramic sunroof comes standard. Name another car that's gonna do that. I'll sit here and wait. Nothing? I didn't think so. You've also got your charging outlets here hidden under this little door. It's really cool, it kind of just pops up and presents you with both a USB-C and a Type A USB, which is great. You've got navigation here in the center, as well as, like I mentioned, wireless Apple CarPlay, which is awesome to have. And this true touchpad interface is honestly really nice. It's a one-to-one, so if I touch the upper right corner of the touchpad, that's gonna translate to the upper right corner of the screen. A lot more companies can take note from Acura's design. That's a great thing to have. On our A-Spec, we've also got metal sport pedals down below and a metal dead pedal so you can kind of help brace yourself around any corners that you might conquer. We've also got these really nice paddle shifters, and we'll get into this more when we get into the driving review, but this 10-speed auto in here is really good. So that's the front seats, but if you're looking at a 3-row SUV, you're definitely concerned with what's in the back. So let's hop into the back seats and see how much room I have sitting behind myself. All right, so now we're in the back seats and we've got some nice amenities back here. First off, we've got LED lighting in the back. LED lighting comes standard all around on the MDX. We've got our own climate controls, both vents and control center. We've got a 12-volt power outlet as well as 2 USB ports. We've got map pockets here in the back of the front seats. You have sunshades to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes. And the stitching from the front actually carries into the back, which is a nice touch. You've got stitching here on the door cards as well as along the seats. Nice contrasting red stitching. So you might be saying to yourself, Steve, how come the MDX doesn't offer captain's chairs? Well, that's where you're wrong. The MDX actually does. If you fold down this seat, you can see you've got a nice armrest here, but also if you pull this strap down here at the bottom, you can actually remove this center seat, pull it out, and you're sitting in captain's chairs. And side note, I'm sitting behind myself. I'm 6 feet tall. I've got lots of leg room, plenty of headroom. I'm not feeling cramped back here. Now let's hop into the third row and see how much room this new MDX has to offer. All right, so now we're in the third row of the MDX, and I have a decent amount of space, but this is mainly meant for small adults and children. So, you know, my knees are up against the back of the seat in front of me, and that's okay, because again, in a pinch, this is gonna work just fine. And if you've got kids back here, they're gonna love it. They've got their own cup holder, they've got their own map lights they can play with, and they can even see out the third window, which is nice. All right, so you're loving the exterior of the MDX, and you're loving the interior. You can see it's super premium, really plush, nice place to be. Now you're asking yourself, what's under the hood of this thing? Well, come with me and we'll go take a look. All right, so under here we have a Honda-derived J-Series V6. It's a 3.5 liter and it's making 291 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. That's paired up with a 10-speed automatic transmission that shifts lightning fast and also has plenty of range for great fuel economy. The MDX is rated at 19 city, 26 highway, which is pretty good for an SUV of this size. And since this heart is derived from a Honda, it's gonna be exceptionally reliable. And that's what you want when you're shopping for a new SUV for your family. All right, so the exterior of this vehicle gets a check. The interior also gets a check. Nice and luxurious, plenty of features. We just crossed off the engine, that gets a check. Reliable, great gas mileage, plenty of power. Now let's head out on the road and give this thing one more check before you head down to McGrath Acura and check this off your list. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the new MDX, and the first thing that struck me is that the steering was super light in a parking lot. Once I got it out onto the road, it immediately got a lot more heavy, and that's kind of cool to have because, you know, throwing it around in a parking lot, it's gonna be really easy to steer, and then once you get out onto the highway, it's gonna tighten up, which is exactly what you want out on the highway when you're going a lot faster. You don't want your steering wheel to be darting all over the place just trying to steer a little bit and correct yourself in a lane. Super nice to have. We've also got our blind spot monitors working absolutely flawlessly, as well as all of our other driver assistance tech. So we've got radar cruise control, which is really nice. I can set it here and it'll actually just follow the car in front of me, which is super cool. It's gonna slow down because this guy's turning, and then as soon as he gets out of my way, we're back. And it's gonna accelerate just perfectly for me. Coming around this corner, steering feels really nice. You don't get a lot of feedback, but you know, this isn't a sports car, so you don't really need that. It is confidence inspiring though. And we also have adaptive drive modes, which is cool. So I can, right now we're in sport, but if I throw it into comfort, everything softens up. And I mean everything. The steering softens up, the suspension softens up, my throttle response softens up. It doesn't downshift as eagerly as it does in sport. And then, you know, if you're on the highway, you want to go past somebody, or you just want a little bit extra throttle response, a little bit more fun factor, throw that bad boy into sport, and it responds instantly on the throttle. That's really nice. This J-Series V6 has been around a long time, but that's not a problem because it's a reliable motor, and not only is it a reliable motor, it's a proven motor, and it's got plenty of power, so that's great. We're coming up to a little highway on-ramp here, so let's see what she does. Again, steering is really precise in here. It's one of the things that actually surprised me about the MDX is how well this thing handles. We're coming around a corner, coming onto a highway. We got plenty of power to get up in front of the cars that are not letting me merge, and that's okay because hit it, and this J-Series V6 does exactly what we want, takes off, and now we're just cruising and getting great fuel economy while doing it. It's a lot more confidence inspiring, and in sport mode, yeah, we do have some body roll, but you know, we're pretty high up off the ground, and this is a vehicle that you don't really care about that kind of stuff. It's a lot firmer in sport mode, and that's nice to have. Now, visibility in here is also really good. I've got plenty of forward visibility out of these nice large windows, and lots of rearward visibility, especially in an SUV that has, you know, 3 rows. I've got a lot to look past in the rear view mirror, and I can see everything behind me. That's really nice. And now we're just cruising along at highway speeds, and you know, I'm passing a semi on my right, and it's pretty quiet in here. The suspension is really comfortable, and I'm gonna throw it back in comfort just so we can kind of see. My lane keep is working to keep me in the center of my lane, which is nice to have, as well as my cruise control is set, and it's just following the cars in front of me. I mean, I can't ask for anything more. Driver assistance tech is the way to go in 2021. It really helps to make you a bit of a better driver. It drives a lot better than some of the competition, and that's great. And it also comes in at a really good price. The one that we're sitting in right now, the MSRP is about $58,000 and some change, and you get some really great features for that price. I've got heated and cooled seats, I've got super handling all-wheel drive, I've got that great J-Series V6, I've got navigation here at my fingertips. I mentioned it comes with a standard panoramic sunroof. I've also got the ELS Studio 3D sound system, which is one of the best ones in the car industry right now. You've got adaptive cruise, lane keep assist, I mean, just blind spot monitors, every safety feature you could possibly wish for in a modern vehicle. I've got a great responsive V6 that gets plenty of gas mileage. I've got a power rear liftgate. I mean, this thing has literally everything that you could possibly want in this price point. All right, so that's gonna conclude this review of the all-new MDX. And I really hope I was able to help you fall in love with this vehicle. It's definitely an easy one to fall in love with, but you know what's even easier to fall in love with? That's McGrath Acura of downtown Chicago.